So we've talked a bit about self-compassion, and then we discussed Tara Brach's RAIN, recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. And now I'm going to introduce kind of a third resource, which is called the 3-Sync method by Thomas Hubl. And Thomas Hubl is an expert, a researcher in the kind of subject of trauma, and he has a wonderful book called Attuned, I'll add that in the resources, but he also has an incredible podcast and website. And so I'm just going to kind of go through this method, and hopefully you'll find it helpful. So the 3-Sync method, so it stands for 3 Synchronization. The first part of the 3-Sync method is focusing on our body. So we're going to be again, we're just tuning into our body. So we're starting this exercise, okay? And you can do it in a seated position. You can do it when you're standing. But the first part is you're going to be dropping into your body, okay? Again, just doing that body scan. This comes up a lot. You will hear this from me many times over. Body scanning, attuning with our bodies is an integral part in the recovery and the healing and trauma. And so we're dropping into our body. What are we noticing? Okay, just what are the different physical body sensations I'm experiencing in this moment? And a lot of people like to do this sitting. I like to really pay attention to my spine, kind of just sitting up very straight, noticing our feet in the ground, noticing how our head is feeling, how our jaw is feeling, and we're just kind of really checking in with our body, okay? The next part of the 3-Sync is we're gonna be syncing our emotions, our emotional state. Okay, so it's just the same kind of thing. What am I noticing emotionally? I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling numb. And that's one that a lot of us feel. And I think, we rush to, I shouldn't feel numb, okay? And, numbing, many of us kind of go numb for a variety of reasons, but usually it's something that we learned at a very, very young age. And so just being able to name that, I'm feeling numb right now, is important. We don't need to change that. We're just naming it. We're honoring it. That gets to be here, okay? So we're just checking in with our emotional state. And then the final synchronization is going to be with our mind and our consciousness. What's happening up here, okay? Am I going wild? Am I overanalyzing right now? Am I rehearsing something that I need to do in the next day or so? Am I obsessing about something that I did yesterday, maybe a mistake that I made or something that I didn't do perfectly? Am I worrying? Am I thinking about my kids? Am I worrying about them? Am I thinking about my body, how I look in this outfit? Am I thinking about this sports practice that I have to kind of run the next couple hours? Am I thinking about that conference or that meeting that I have to go to in a couple weeks? Am I thinking about my marriage, my relationship, things that are going well, not so well there? Just like what's going on in the mind, okay? What's going on in the mind? And usually it's going pretty hardcore for most of us. And so it's just really noticing that, and it's recognizing that. And then, we can also think about here the collective consciousness. Okay, so I always like to kind of just, we check in with ourselves and what's going on in our minds, but then we think about around us. Okay, so I like to start with my office. So I work in a space where there's, several therapists working here. I think about what are we probably all feeling right now? Okay, what are we all feeling right now? We're all sitting with people in heavy emotional states. What are we all feeling right now? And most of us have families, and most of us have kids or grandchildren. Some of us have medical issues that we're dealing with, loved ones that are struggling in some way. So we're all, what are we all kind of experiencing right now? And then if I'm feeling like it, I can even go beyond that. I think about the community that I work in, the Camp Hill community. What are some good things that they're probably feeling right now? What's everybody kind of probably sharing right now? There's definitely a heaviness in our world. They're probably all feeling that. And we expand it as far as we can. Okay, and we really just check in with how am I feeling emotionally, and how are those around me, whether I can see them or not, how are they probably feeling, in their minds? What's happening with them? So what does this do? Well, this is attunement. Okay, so we've talked about attunement to our children, a parent and child attunement. This is part of becoming attuned to ourselves, okay? And if we can really begin to practice this on a regular basis, it becomes easier and easier to drop into this space just on the fly. You know, we could be in the grocery store and notice that we're feeling kind of not present or disassociated or foggy or frustrated. We drop into this. We can do this very, very quickly. It's a very quiet practice. And I always like to say it's really good to practice these kind of things when we're not feeling super charged, so that when we are feeling charged or it is a difficult moment, it's more of kind of a reflex for us to drop into it. Okay. And so this makes us more coherent to ourselves, with ourselves, and to the world around us. Okay, if we're attuned to ourselves, we can better attune to those around us, those we know and those we don't know. And again, this is all about the relationship with ourselves. This is part of developing that relationship with ourselves, which often gets cut off over the course of trauma, single incident trauma or relational trauma. So this is a wonderful method. The 3-sync method, 3-synchronization method, Thomas Hubl, wonderful, very kind of easy practice to begin to try to engage in, and try to do it maybe once a day, twice a day if possible. Share it with those that you love around you. Do it with your partner. What a wonderful way to kind of have a point of connection with either your partner or your child. If you're an athletic coach, you could try to do this with your sports team. A teacher, we could all use this in different ways. And so in a world where we're so disconnected, okay, and everything seems so separate right now, what a wonderful thing, what a wonderful difference, what a wonderful way of just being, even if it's for 6-7 minutes during our day. Okay. And I appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate you being willing to expand and learn. I hope you found this helpful.